Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Todd. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah!
Get some. Hurrah! What's going on, everybody? Hey, another week is almost over. Friday night's Eve. Baby Friday, as I also like to call it. But goddamn, it's almost the weekend. Welcome back to another great show, everybody. We got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to talk about today. But let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. Hey, this show is brought to you by the folks of Periodically. I'm showing you my titties right there. Just kidding. Hey, when was the last? Here's a pitch. How would you like to learn about investing? How would you like to know about learning about money, making money, getting out of debt, and getting some really cool state licenses along the way? Well, give the folks at Periodically a call. They'll pay for all your training. You'll make money as you go along, and you get to help out other people and make yourself more marketable by getting all these great licenses. So if there's something that, make a side hustle, you don't have to quit your job. You make some money on the side, average between $600 to $1,200 a month. If that's something that sounds good to you and you don't have to pay for anything out of pocket, then give the folks at Periodically a call. It's all right on the show description. Put your name on there. And then, if not, that's fine too. But you get to find out some really good information. Also, this show is brought to you by the VA. So here's an awesome message from Mike Richmond.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Do you want easy access to VA Online, as well as other government websites? Then login.gov is the way to go. Login.gov is a U.S. government service that provides seamless access to government websites. By creating a login.gov account, you can use the same email and password to sign into va.gov, My Healthy Vet, VA DoD e-benefits, and the VA Health and Benefits mobile app, among other VA services. Login.gov also allows you to securely sign in to USA Jobs and TSA PreCheck, and to apply for SBA small business loans and disaster assistance. One login, many resources. To create a login.gov account, simply go to va.gov and click sign in.
I know government websites can be a little clunky. However, I will say that va.gov, the VA got it right on this one, so I got to give my props to them. If you have an issue with the va.gov login, there's several ways you can log in. There's several ways you can log in. However, if that doesn't work when you try to check your ID card and all that good stuff, you can actually go to a post office and tell them, hey, I'm having issues with my login.gov verification. Can you please help me out? You just show them your state ID and whatever, and they'll clear that stuff up. And you should be able to log in and get all that stuff taken care of. Because at the end of the day, you gotta put in for a claim. Don't delay. Don't postpone it. Don't procrastinate like last week's show we talked about. Because the further you get away from that flagpole in regards to your claim, the harder it is for you to prove that it was service connected. So do your due diligence, log in, check it out, login.gov through the VA and get your claim going. All right. This show is also brought to you by and we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the great American Constitution. So freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and all the other freedoms that we as Americans have because of this great nation, this great document. So if you like what you hear, like, subscribe, and follow. Make sure that you pass me around. Let everybody know about the show. Let's build this bad boy up. And if you don't, then that's fine. Then perhaps check something out from sitchradio.com. So shout out to Brian Colburn and the rest of the team pushing all the back buttons. So if you think you want to be you could be somebody right here with this Amazon special of podcast stuff, then get with Brian Colburn and he'll get you all plugged in. So check it out. And maybe one day we could be coworkers. Hey, what's up with that? All right. With that being said, let's, now we got all the pleasantries out of the way. Let's get this bad boy going. So a lot of us are you've heard me talk about this before in the past, and I've taught in regards to transition out of the military. And you, again, if you haven't caught on the theme with a lot of things, I always say due diligence for a lot of things, due diligence for investing, due diligence for taking care of your family. In other words, do your shit, do your part and get your stuff done, right? Because you gotta make sure that you gotta do your part at the end of the day. So we talked about in other shows that you have to do research, prepare, make sure that you transition somewhat goes smooth, all those things. Well, one thing that I do periodically, I test out the market, as you should too. Whether you are or you're not happy where you're at, you got to see what is it. What is your brand yourself? What is your brand worth out on the market, right? You have to, because for whatever reason, if your expectations aren't being met at where you're currently at, you want to see what's out there, so that way you can say, okay, well, I'm worth this much, right? Anyway, so periodically I do that. I talk with recruiters. I throw myself in the mix, and so that way I can tell all the veterans when I talk to veterans at forums and things like that, when they call me, hey, what do you think of this or this market or whatever? So I put myself out there just to see what it's looking like, and sometimes it's in an economy where we are basically 8% inflation rate. Here in Florida, as a matter of fact, in Miami has become the number one most expensive city in the world now. Whereas, not in the world, in the U.S., where people used to say, "Oh no, L.A. is the most expensive," which it was, but I believe it was as of May of 2022, the numbers flip-flop. So, and if you don't believe me, I mean, you can go ahead and do a Google search, and what is the average rent on an apartment here in Hialeah, which, by the way, if you're familiar with South Florida, Hialeah, it's not that it's a bad neighborhood. It's just that back in the day, I mean, rent used to be $600-700 on a 2-bedroom apartment. I mean, that was the norm. Now in that one particular area, I mean, you look about over $3,000 on an apartment in the southwest of South Florida. Where I grew up at and went to school. The housing market used to be, $150,000, $200,000 homes were good homes. Those houses are now worth, and they're old houses. Those houses are worth over, $500,000 to $700,000 is the norm now. So with that being said, is that, as I'm looking at this market, I'm doing a lot of, and I get a lot of callbacks, and I'm not gonna say my resume is overly stacked, and mine is the, I'm the last Coca-Cola in the refrigerator, so to speak. I'm the stuff. However, I mean, I got experience in the field and in different areas, right? So when I see must have 10 years of experience, a bachelor's degree, blah blah blah, and this and that thing, and then you send a message to a recruiter, and you're trying to find out, hey, what's the pay range for this? Oh, it is between 60,000 to 70,000. It's like, man, dude, come on, man, get out of here. Are you kidding me? So you're asking for all this stuff, this laundry list of qualifications, and this is the pay range you're going to give this individual? It's like, come on, dude. I mean, and yes, there was a couple of positions thrown at me. Again, as I'm testing out the market on purpose, I mean, between 50 to 60,000. And I'm sorry, and I'm not saying that I'm not, I'm it. But that's a slap on the face to any job seeker, especially when in an economy that's where a pack of eggs is almost $10. I mean, seriously, right? And I'm not just here bitching about the economy or whatever case. It's just that is reality. And I'm not advocating either for raising the minimum wage to this and that, because that's every state, that's at their level. They can't handle that issue on basically on their own. but you just can't expect, have all these things, and then basically try to pay people, underpay them. While I get it that, and I've been a business owner on several locations, and I know what it's like to having to pinch a penny because you got payables and money, whatever's coming in, and you reinvesting back into the business. I get all that shit. However, if you want, because we see it all the time, I was having this conversation earlier with some folks, at this place that I go to, and but if you want to retain talent, you got to pay them. You got to actually go a little bit above and beyond. While recognition is great, hey, and attaboys and little chin check, like, hey, great job, little Johnny, you did, thanks for your loyalty and whatever. At the end of the day, say, hey, you gotta put some greens on my hand so I can feel appreciated. You gotta pay your folks, right? And if you want to find good talent, then you want to be competitive with the pay that's currently out there. Because at the end of the day, we all know, we've heard it before. I know I have. You pay what you get for. If you don't believe me, then ask my kids about some laptops. When they were younger, I bought some laptops out of eBay, and this is many years ago, where mini laptops were still somewhat coming out of it wasn't a thing yet. Well, I got these things out of eBay, and they were $150 each, and I thought, oh my god, and what a killing! And my kids are gonna love it. Well, shit, they caught on real quick, and they're like, "Where was this shit made?" So, which, yes, it was made overseas, and so I'm sorry to my kids. I apologize. Poppy was just trying to be, save a buck or two, and you're the guys who paid for it. But the bottom line is, you got to know what you're worth. And you have to figure this shit out really, really quick. You just can't wait that maybe they'll see how good I am, what it says on my resume. Hey, look, that resume, this message goes out specifically. I know I got some civilians that listen to the show, but veterans, or you just fresh out of the service, so to speak, or you're transitioning now. You got to do your due diligence. I'm sorry. I love carbonated soda, but maybe I should not drink it right before the show because I'm a little burpy, everybody. No, you have to do your research as to, hey, what market are you looking into? Where are you going? Whether you're doing some of the transitioning programs where they allow you to go way before you go to terminal leave and try different companies, you need to figure out what those industries, what is the competitive pay for those industries that you're trying, whether it's logistics, safety, finance, admin, whatever. There's plenty of resources out there. Yes, Google is everybody's go-to, but you can also go to glassdoor.com to find out more about a company, or and many other things. You have to know what what is that you're worth, because a lot of us, because I fell on this category too. And again, you've heard me say, I'm not trying to kick Tampa Tap and the transitioning seminars and the things that some of the programs that some of the bases and commands have for transitioning service members. It's just that, in my opinion, that information needs to be up to date and in tune with the market, so that way we're better serving our service members that are getting out. Because when I went through, again, some of the information was dated. It wasn't, resumes weren't with the current trend or what they looked at in the market, and it just, again, nothing's gonna prepare you. So going back to last week's subject, you don't put it on others to get you where you need to be. It's up to you, because at the end of the day, nobody else is coming. So with that being said, you got to do research, know how much you're worth, because you do bring a lot of shit to the table. You bring, whether you did 4 years, 10, 15, 20, whatever, you bring you bring a lot to the forefront. Companies would kill themselves even if you were a shitbird in the Marine Corps. If you're one of those, hey, I'm just the bare minimum. I'm just gonna get, I'm just gonna, get a second class PFT. I'm not gonna put out what even that individual or that, and if that's you, that's okay. You are still far better off than your civilian counterparts. Why? Because whether you went to, boot camp for the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Space Force, Air Force, Coast Guards, whatever, the things that they instill in you and press upon you to be a better, I'm telling you, you're a much better individual than your counterparts. So you bring a lot of stuff to the table. You bring years of experience, whether it's 4 years, you did a lot more. You bring a lot of experience of leadership, of getting stuff done, esprit de corps, teamwork. You worked in a multicultural environment, because I know it wasn't the Marine Corps. There was no black, no, no Asian, no this, no that. We're all just green. I can tell you that right now. And some of the best friends that I have are from all over the spectrum. So, you bring a lot of things to the table, and you're gonna get lost. I mean, you get a lot more shit done than your civilian counterparts. I'm telling you, because I've been out of the military for, this year will be 10 years, or next month will be 10 years that I've been out of the Marine Corps. And I mean, sometimes I just sit on my work. It's like, oh shit, I just got all my projects done. What else? I gotta force myself to milk stuff, because it's like I can. It just, and I have all the fellow devil dogs and service members that where I've worked at before, and it's like, well shit, it's the same thing. So you bring a lot of stuff to the table. So you're worth a lot more than what you think you are. Yes, I know that my buddy Russell Levy, who's been on the show, and he's an outstanding advocate for us service members, and I highly recommend that you check out Veterans Transition Support. Check them out. VTS is an outstanding organization. Sometimes he'll even say, hey, you might want to take a lesser paying job just a little bit so you get your foot in the door. Yeah, that I can bounce for that, because I did that myself. However, if you want to stick to your guns and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, then fuck it, then go for that. What do I say that is that at the end of the day, if you're a retiree, you're still better off than your civilian counterparts, because you'll have some income coming in from your many years of service and dedication. So I say that because I did that. I wanted to reconnect back with my family. I took full advantage of I don't want to go to work immediately, like a lot of us do. Like, we feel like, oh shit, I gotta get to work. I gotta take the time to. I took the time. I went on terminal leave, and I was still getting paid. So I took those 3 months, and I basically, I was able to reconnect with my family. I 100%, and I had a retirement, so I was stashing that money in, and once that happened, then boom. And then I ended up getting a job. So you have some coming in, or if you just did 4 years, you got deployed, you got some things going on medically, you got 100%, or even 50%, you still got some money coming in that you don't have to feel like you're being rushed into getting back into the work. So either way, you'll be fine. So take your time, and then if you want to stick to your guns and find that job that's going to pay you what you're worth, then screw it, go for it. If you're worth it. So, and then another thing that I see with us service members is, which, thank God, and shout out to my buddy Daniel Stevenson, who's been on the show on several times, and he's been a great friend and mentor. He got out he retired from the service before I did, and he told me, he said, hey, never ever ever consider your retire pay or your VA claim as part of that pay compensation thing to make up whatever it is that financially where you want to be. He says, don't do that, because that retirement, you earn that shit. Because that VA claim, there's a reason why, you have shoulder issues. There's a reason why your medical book is this thick, and the VA is compensating you for that. You earn that through, with your body, your mind, soul, and spirit. So to you folks out there, my fellow vets, my fellow retirees, and people who are transitioning, don't do that. Don't bring that money into the mix. Okay, you earn that. You earn that shit. So my advice is, hey, if you got that money coming in, invest it. Give somebody a cheap shot, cheap plug-in. Give somebody, let the folks at Primerica, let us help you with that money, and that way, so as you get older, you have something that you don't have to depend on your kids or anybody, because that money is going to grow. But don't put that money into the mix, because you earn that, through and through. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know a lot of us fall into that. Thank God that was one of the things that my buddy Dan, say, hey, yes, things may be rough at times, blah, 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 whatever case, but don't make the mistake that I made and that others have made, is by putting that money into the mix. Oh, well, I really want to make $100,000, but my retirement a year is going to be, around 30 grand. My VA is going to be blah, blah, blah. That money you earn. So keep that to yourself. And don't be afraid. Another thing is, don't be afraid to, the days of you dying at a job, those days are long gone. Pensions, to find a place with a pension, except for the military and some old companies, those days are long gone. So it is pretty common to see out in the market for people to stay in a company 2, 3 years, maybe 4, and then move on to the other thing. Unless there's, there's opportunities for you to advance and grow financially, then by all means, within the company, then do that. But you got to seek out those opportunities, because nobody else is going to tell you about them. Nobody else is going to, is going to let you know. So again, due diligence. You got to ask within the company, hey, what other opportunities are there for me to grow within the company? Oh, well, we have this internal university, so to speak, and we have these cross-pollinating opportunities where you can learn about something or the other. So take advantage of those things internally. If not, then go out externally and start, put yourself out in the market and look for opportunities. I can tell you this, is because I've done this in the past, is that looking for a job is another job in itself. So while you may, there are those one or two opportunities, like it happened with me, within my network, that somebody can, hey, you're still doing safety? Hey, I got this job here overseas. You want to come and check it out, find out more? Yeah, sure. Tell me all about it. And that's how, so stay within your network, and don't, when you leave the military, don't just, completely like peace out and then, ghost out everybody, because you never know when one of those colleagues may come back at you asking you, hey, if do you want to check this out? So, you got to stay within your network. But at the end of the day, you got to know what you're worth. You got to find out, do your market research, and then, and get paid. Nobody else is going to do it for you. I'll tell you one good, one story how sometimes things work out for some of us. When I got out, and I started pursuing a career in safety and all these things, I've done a lot of talks. I used to present. I used to help out through Veterans Transition Support, and I had a lot of exposure. And I am, and I'm known in the safety industry because, again, it's taken me a long time to build that reputation and such, and putting myself in, and doing a lot of things safety related. Nonetheless, this one Marine that went through one of my classes, and we used to teach motorcycle safety together. This dude, was getting ready to retire out of the military, sergeant major, and all that good stuff. Nonetheless, he was transitioning into a new field. Hey, right off the bat, the dude got a great job making over $150,000 at a company, being the safety person, their safety director. There are those opportunities, and when he got the offer letter, he says, I didn't know, because it was my first one. I didn't want to haggle them on the I probably could have gotten a lot more. But hey, that number was great, and I took it right. I'm like, hell yeah, you should. And meanwhile, again, I have been already out a couple of years, and I was like, man, what happened to that job opportunity? I wasn't really hating on him. I was kind of hating on me. I was like, dude, what are you doing to get where you want to be? Are you out there making it happen, or are you procrastinating or getting comfortable in that? I guess in those words, because sometimes even when we get comfortable, we stop doing our due diligence and we stop advocating for ourselves because it's easy. It becomes easy, and we just fall back into old habits and stuff. So, you got to know what you're worth, and you got to stick with it, because if you don't, nobody else is going to do it for you. If you don't advocate for yourself and show your bosses, hey, look, this is what I did. This is where I'm at. These are the things that I accomplished. What can we do compensation wise that's going to put me where I need to be? And if they say, well, our company doesn't really do that, we only give 3% raise, which, believe me, I've had this talk with employers, and those are signs that, hey, this shit ain't working. It's not me, it's you. I gotta go and seek better, greener pastures. So you got to do your stuff. You can't procrastinate, and then know what you're worth, folks. So you got to make that shit happen. And if you want help, ideas of if you're kind of struggling or you're getting ready to get out, hit me up right here at the show. Send me a DM you can do it through Facebook, YouTube, or whatever all the other streaming platforms. You can send us you can also find me on Instagram on my personal, or on my at the Field Up Instagram. Shoot me a message. I'll answer. I mean, I'll send you copies of my resume. We can set up a Zoom call, whatever the case may be, to get you prepared as far as your transition. Or if you want to just change, you've been out in the job market for a while and you want to change and you want to work, try new things, hit us up. I'll be more than glad to help you out. I mean, that's what we do. Help, we take care of each other. We take care of our own, and we don't leave anybody behind, right? So I think this is a great place to end the show. I hope this information was valuable. So kind of wrapping up from last week, hey, stop procrastinating, get your shit together, do your your due diligence, market research, and then let's go get it. Let's go get paid. And another, again, cheap plugin. If you want to make some extra cash and learn about money, making money, getting out of debt, hey, give the folks at Primerica a shout out. At the end of the day, you might get some cool licenses and make some money, or at the end of the day, you may not like it and still get paid, make some licenses that make you more marketable. So that's it for today, folks. We're going to go index right here. So with that being said, don't commit suicide. Don't be a little bitch. Talk to us in the show. We'll get you all taken care of. We'll get you plugged in with some help. All right. So, Aistamas, Daisuki, Index. See you next week, everybody. Yut.